Welcome once again to RNS Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan, alongside my co-host, Evan. What is your name?
I'm Evan.
Good.
Yes.
Now, we got to get into business. We got to get into Freddy Got Fingered today.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Great film.
2001.
If you haven't seen Freddy Got Fingered, I highly recommend it. But before we get into Freddy Got Fingered, Evan, I'd like to remind you all to like the video, leave a comment if you have something to say about Freddy Got Fingered, or our various subtopics we have before the main topic.
Mm-hmm,
Shout out John Campia.
John Campia.
And,
Dylan, what is our main topic? What is our first main topic for today?
Auteurist, surrealist comedy, Freddy Got Fingered.
Yes.
But, so I wanted to mention a few things. I wanted to mention Moon Knight. Evan still has neglected to watch it.
I've neglected my responsibilities on RNS Podcast.
Yeah, you gotta get on that.
Yeah.
More MCU content. That's what our fans are begging us for.
I apologize, everyone. I have kind of neglected RNS Podcast. I've been busy with some personal life stuff, which maybe we'll talk about in the future.
We're both adults. You know, we got shit going on.
So, I'm sorry.
We got Marvel Legends to buy.
We do have 78 subs, though, now.
78?
Yeah. So.
That's why, because you were talking about, I don't want to expose you.
Oh.
Right? I don't want to expose you, but last week you were like, oh, do you want to just scrap this episode? Because it's kind of about current events, and, like, we kind of waited too long to put it out. Because Dylan didn't put it out, but...
Oh, it's okay. Like I said, shit happens.
But, and you're like, oh, should we scrap it? But I think if we can put an episode out, we should every week.
Yeah.
Just because it's, like, it's good for consistency, and, like, YouTube notices if you put something out consistently, so... Just try and put stuff out as much as we can. And that episode actually didn't do bad.
It didn't do terrible. No.
For me, the new threshold is, like, we should get 100 views.
Yeah, and it did over 100, so
that seems like what we're at the point we're at, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
That we're kind of a consistent kind of growth. And the Batman episode and Drive and Alita all did pretty damn good.
Yeah. And shout out to AJ, because he actually commented. So shout out to you, AJ.
Yeah, shout out AJ. We love when you guys comment, our good friends and family, so thank you very much.
Also, of course, Andy, but, you always be doing that.
Andy's kind of baked in.
Yeah,
like,
you're baked.
Yeah, Andy's like baked into it, so we're not like super impressed when he does it, but we still appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
Yeah, so thank you, Andy. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin is a cool friend that watches it.
Yeah, he always watches.
I know Xavier and Brennan pop in from time to time. Joey. Shout out to Joey. I remember Joey left some comments on Drive.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, we appreciate that stuff.
We do.
But anyways, you want to get into our cool topics. I wanted to mention, like we said, Moon Knight, Everything, Everywhere at Once, or whatever.
Yeah, me and Dylan saw that.
That's a good movie, and I wanted to mention that Nicolas Cage movie. We can talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And did you have any?
You saw it a week early.
I did see it early. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we actually got a press pass, so.
Yeah.
Pretty epic. I don't know, not to flex, but. No, I got into it.
Well, you did. Yeah, I haven't even seen it.
Evan didn't go.
Yeah, I'll probably see it next weekend. Maybe.
Yeah, I actually won't spoil anything. Yeah. So what do you want to get into first? You want to talk about everything?
Well, since I have not seen Moon Knight, you can go ahead.
I don't want to. Last time we actually talked quite a bit about Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But episode 3 at the time of recording is the most current episode. And if you don't know, also I'm a pretty big Moon Knight fan. I like Moon Knight, not the show, the character.
Yeah. No, you're a huge fan of the show.
I'm a huge fan of the unfinished Disney Plus show. Not Disney Plus. So, also for context, Disney
I canceled
Plus,
my Disney Plus subscription.
Oh,
I want to mention that.
That's another update worth mentioning is that, Evan, you did cancel your Disney Plus.
I did, yeah.
And
I was like, let me save my $10 a month.
It's a good savings. What is that? That's like at least like 3 Big Macs or something?
Yeah, 3 Big
That's
Macs.
Sweet, so. And also in RNS streaming service area, we share an HBO Max account.
We do.
So would you say that you traded out Disney Plus for HBO Max?
Yeah, why not?
And
Yeah.
More. HBO Max is awesome.
It is awesome.
I can't sing the praises of HBO Max enough. It's awesome. So good. Epic. But Moon Knight episode, I don't know, it's not like super good or anything. It might be my favorite Disney Plus show. That's not saying that.
But yeah, it's not really saying that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not saying that much. There's certain aspects I don't. I think I mentioned this last week. There's certain ways that they interpret Moon Knight that I don't like, but there's also some stuff that's cool. There's one thing I wanted to mention, Andy. If you're listening to this and you have not seen Moon Knight yet,
cover your ears.
This is a spoiler.
We'll put timestamps.
We're putting timestamps for this one. I think if we do different topics at the beginning,
We need to put timestamps for that.
Or if it's an episode like last week where it's like random stories, we'll put timestamps. But if it's just like, I don't know, just like we're just talking about the movie the whole time, no timestamp.
Yeah.
But anyways, there was one thing I wanted to mention that was a spoiler. That's there's one aspect of Moon Knight that I think I mentioned last week, where basically Moon Knight won't, like, he's not like a defensive guy. Like, if you shoot him, if you try and punch him, he's not gonna block the punch. He's not gonna dodge the punch. He's gonna take it into his face and then like try and get like a knife into your gut. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a savage. He's a savage.
He's a brawler.
Would you agree with that?
Oh. Well, I don't know too much about him, but I'll say yeah.
Yeah, he's a savage.
I don't know enough about him to say yes, but
and there's a part.
I believe you, so
there's
yeah.
a really fucking cool part in the new Moon Knight episode where they fucking impale Moon Knight with two giant metal rods.
Oh damn.
And then he just like keeps fighting.
Mr. Knight could never.
Oh, I hate Mr. Knight. I don't know if you know that. You remember?
I do. Yeah, you mentioned that.
So I hate Mr. Knight. I think he sucks. But
I don't like the suit and like the white suit
it looks
and the mask. Yeah, it looks
stupid.
Yeah.
It looks like a guy who debunks Christianity on YouTube.
He did, or like a creepypasta, like their profile picture.
like,
They like a creepypasta YouTuber.
Yeah, it looks like a shitty YouTuber's OC character.
Yeah, exactly.
In their profile picture, but
he's newer, right, Mr. Knight?
He's fairly new.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think from like the 2010 or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Somewhere around there, but one thing I do like about this show is that he's not in the comics. He's another personality. Like there's Moon Knight, Mr. Knight, his like human, right, like normal civilian personality. He's like a different personality, but in this, it's so you have Mark Spector. You don't know anything about the show, right? Or the
No, I haven't kept up at all.
Basically, they use Mark Spector, who's kind of the main personality in the comics.
He's like the Moon Knight personality.
He's
in this,
like
right?
Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
But he's a mercenary. But he's like the Bruce Wayne, the main guy, the Batman, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
like,
but Mark Spector is a personality that turns into Moon Knight, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But then,
and then what's his like main personality in the show, like Steven?
Well, it's not really the main person.
Well, I don't know what to call it. The one you start out with, I guess.
Steven.
Okay, and he turns into Mr. Knight, right?
So Steven, I think in the comics he's... What is he? Because there's one that's like a taxi driver, and then there's one that's like a... What is he, a mechanic? I don't know. Anyways, fake Moon Knight fan. But the point is, they switched it so that instead of all being different personalities, the Mr. Knight persona is Steven's version of like summoning the Moon Knight suit.
Yeah.
So it's just his personality's interpretation of the Moon Knight suit.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that.
That's what it seemed like it was, yeah.
I think it works.
Do you like when he like lands and then tips
he falls
over?
Down?
Yeah.
It's really funny. It made me chuckle. It made me spit up on my tummy. It made me laugh. Yeah. It's great.
That's good.
It made me shoot Cheeto dust out of my nose. It's hilarious.
Spider-Man 2 did it better.
They did.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 does everything better.
Well, that's true.
It's
better than most like fucking movies, just in
I
general,
agree.
not outside superhero movies.
But yeah, Moon Knight season 3. So there was season 3.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe we're already at season 3 of Moon Knight.
The
Insane.
dystopia
Yeah.
in like 2026. We're on Moon Knight season 3. We're talking. So yeah, that was Moon Knight season 3.
I heard there's only gonna be one season. Apparently, I think maybe they're gonna give him a movie then after this.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't want to be too quick to say I hope so. I love Moon Knight though, so I'd be kind of happy to see. But it pisses me off because while I was watching the show this week, actually, I was like, damn, like they couldn't. Like, why can't they just be like DC? Like
it's tied to the MCU.
It has to be the MCU.
Yeah,
it has
yeah,
to fit into.
yeah.
Like, you have to cast someone that's MCU friendly.
Yeah.
Like, you have to cast a Disney guy.
Yeah.
Like, not that Oscar Isaac is solely like a Disney, but
well, he's in
he's Poe Dameron.
a few Disney properties. He's in this, Star Wars, and there's something else. I can't think about
I know he's in
head.
Fox. He's
Well, he was in X-Men also. Yeah.
he's in 2 other Marvel.
He's a
movies.
safe choice. I would agree.
Yeah,
he is a safe
exactly,
choice.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Even though he's kind of in both worlds, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that, like I don't know.
mainstream versus
Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't gotta spend too much more time on Moon Knight, but it's like serviceable. But I was saying about the casting and stuff like that. It's just like you were saying, it's very safe, and Moon Knight's a character that deserves to be like edgy and not safe.
Yeah.
It is like kind of the edgiest I've seen the MCU in a long time, but still it feels very stunted.
Yeah.
And I would just love to see a real, actual like Moon Knight thing that's not like the MCU. The MCU is so.
Yeah, it's at this point you can kind of start to tell that they're getting bogged down by having everything tied to the MCU.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't make like something like the Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Because like, you don't really get to feel like they're the main character. It's like no, like Hulk's the main character. Like these people are just like.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Because
they're never gonna be as important as like the big.
Yeah.
Heroes or whatever, yeah.
But for example, too, like Daredevil, like even though that was kind of set in the MCU, but
it felt like it had its own agency though,
yeah.
and it was definitely the style was not like.
I felt like Kingpin is like oh shit, like he's the big villain and shit. But in this, I'm like Loki would just like incinerate this guy with the stick. Like he just has this stick. Mm-hmm. He just has like a. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it feels cheaper. It's like closer to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. than Daredevil, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Moon Knight feels like he could transition into the movies, but like the main villain, like fuck no. Mm-hmm. He feels like a TV, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. villain.
Even though they have a like big actor from Ethan Hawke.
I mean, he's good. He's actually good. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool because like the way he plays it, he's like a cult leader.
Yeah.
And he plays it like pretty well. And I think he's pretty good in it. And he doesn't really even like... It does have that kind of... This is the most morally gray I've seen the MCU, too, because Moon Knight is like a piece of shit, and he kills people. Mm-hmm. And then...
so he's not like a superhero straight up in it?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Not really. He's kind of a murderer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they kind of call attention to that. Like, Steven doesn't like that.
Yeah.
And it disturbs him. It's kind of cool. It's kind of good.
That is interesting.
It's really not bad, but... And it's interesting, too, because the cult leader guy, like, obviously he's a murderer, too. But he, like, uses... Like, it's like his religion. Mm-hmm. Like, he uses a religious artifact to make people, like... And then it chooses to kill them or not based on if they're a good person. So it's kind of like... It's, like, more...
Who the fuck is he?
From the comics, I don't
know.
Okay. I forget... his name's, like, Widowmaker or some bullshit.
Okay.
I don't know. Comic books.
Widowmaker.
I don't know what it is.
Isn't that fucking... what's that video game? Pre-Fortnite. Overwatch, yeah, Widowmaker.
That is her name. Yeah. But yeah, I like that kind of moral ambiguity. The effects are...
Do they suck?
They're mixed.
Oh, yeah.
The effects are mixed. I actually like the Moon Knight design. I think it's pretty good.
Encanto Moon, it looks cool.
I think it looks pretty good. I can't wait to get...
Not the Mr. Knight, the one that...
honestly...
I'll buy it for you for your birthday.
I think they translated the costume, like, pretty well to live action, but I still don't like the costume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they did a good job making the costume.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't like that costume. And yeah, that's about it. It does have, like, an Indiana Jones vibe, like their cool MCU pitch they always do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's MCU, Indiana Jones. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we'll come back to it sometime. You know what? No more Moon Knight until it's over.
Okay.
We can bring it back when it's over. But yeah, next one.
Well, this is a halfway point anyway, so we talked at the beginning, halfway point, and then the end.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Sure. What do you want to do next?
Oh, do you want to talk about everything, everywhere, all at once?
Sure.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I honestly don't have a lot to say about it. It's pretty overrated. I've seen so many people being like, "They've one of the best movies ever made." Like, no. I saw a funny. I'm sorry, I can't credit whoever this was, but I saw a funny review on Letterboxd that was like who the people who were saying Endgame should have won Best Picture are gonna fucking love this movie. And I was like, yeah, that's facts. It's like it really feels like, and I was saying this with Andy. This was before I even saw that. I was like, it feels like people on Letterboxd who don't want to admit they love the MCU. When they see this, they can be like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people on r/movie circle jerk.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, MC. Like they always make fun of the MCU.
Yeah.
They're like, this is how you should do it. Like this is the MCU.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Not to shun it, because it was a fun movie. It definitely has a lot more style to it than the MCU, and I would say it has a lot more substance than the MCU does as well. But it's like people saying it's like, oh, they've one of the best movies ever. I'm like, really?
I do think, like, I agree with you completely. I think it's, it has good style, and I like the actual, like, story and the message and the relationships and stuff.
That was one of like, the best parts of it for me, like, the heart of it. Yeah. Like, the story about her and her daughter. That was interesting.
It was really fun because I think, I think it was a really good choice to have this, like, it's just this, like, Asian woman, like, this immigrant, like, it's such a normal person to have this happen to, and it's someone, like, it's not someone that's, like, on Reddit, and they're like, oh my god, I can literally...
That would have sucked. That would have sucked.
You know what I mean? It's not anyone that would be interested in a genre movie, or, like, it's just, like, a normal-ass woman.
Yeah.
And, it's really interesting seeing that happen to, like, just, like, a normal-ass...
I agree.
It's... Not that they would do this if it was, like, a kid that was the main character, but, like, I'm so sick of, like, someone be like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
this is so awesome. I get to use a fucking laser gun. What the hell? Like,
for her, she was, like, I guess reluctant hero, I guess you would say, because she didn't want it. She's like, alright, I'm already dealing with so much bullshit in my life. You know what I mean?
That was a great part of the movie, too, is, like...
And I think that kind of part of what it's going for anyways. Like, the allegorical sense of it, just, like... She's dealing with so much going on all at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's part of it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of parts that, like, I like the part where, what's her name was good in it? The Halloween woman?
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, that's her, right?
Yeah, huh?
Yeah,
she was funny.
She was really good. She was funny. I really liked her moment with her, because that was such, like, for me, that was, like, such a real moment.
Yeah,
when she was like, yeah, like, she just, your husband just, and I really, sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but I really liked how the husband was talking to her, and it's kind of a callback to earlier in the movie where she's like, oh, my husband's trying to, like, probably just gonna ruin this shit again.
Yeah, but he actually was like...
But she's just, like, too, like, high-strung and shit, and she doesn't trust her husband
Classic short round. He hasn't been in a movie in, like, fucking 30 years or some shit. Yeah, he was awesome.
He was great. But I really liked how, like, she's like, oh, he's fucking it up, and then, like... Basically, the tax lady is like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you guys a break."
Yeah.
He just explained your situation to me, and I've been there, so that was really sweet.
Yeah, it was.
It reminded me in real life because sometimes people don't know what's going on, and you're like, "Hey, man, like fucking blah blah blah." Like I don't know if it's like a cop and they pull you over and like, "Oh shit, like I'm sorry, I can't afford like to pay my tags yet. I'm working on it," and they're like, "Oh, it's okay." Like it's something like that's a really real moment,
and that becomes like kind of the lesson for her. It's like, oh, we can just like talk things out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of the most clever kind of, like, I don't know exactly how to put it. Like, it was a really clever, like, sci-fi, like, the way they handled the multiverse aspect. I thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah. And also, I remember you mentioned this, how you really liked, because it's a big part of the movie, but, like, the montage. Their use of montage throughout the movie.
Yeah.
There's one part where I thought it was actually really good, where it's at the end, like, how they mix, like, the real world conflict with, like, this multiverse universe ending conflict together, where she's, like, the black hole is, like, sucking in that universe, and her daughter's, like, going in, and they, like, juxtapose it with her talking to her daughter, trying to, like, leave. You know what I'm talking about? Like, towards the end. I guess I don't know if I would say it's the climax, but...
In the other universes? Well, I can't remember.
Yeah, so she's, like, talking, her daughter's like, we shouldn't see each other anymore, like, let's go our separate ways. And then, at the same time, they're cutting it with the daughter trying to go in the black hole.
And then you mean, like, that part, and then, like, when she lets her go, and, like,
and they're, like, talking in the parking lot? They're, like, cutting between those two things. Yes. That was really good.
I thought that whole ending I thought was really good.
Because you have, like, this... It's shown in a very, like, fantastical kind of way, and then it's being shown in a very real way.
Yeah.
And you're cutting it together, and it's like, oh, this makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the part where, I don't know, yeah, like, it's... For some reason, like, that kind of... Montage isn't used in an emotional way very often, and I feel like it really fucking works.
It did,
like in Up, I guess.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the kind of... The first 5 minutes... Everyone always talks about the first 5 minutes of Up, it's like the greatest cinema ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's, montage can be very effective in that way. It's like, because you can pull emotions out of people in a more abstract kind of way, and it's not used very often. Montage is usually relegated to, like, oh, well, this is a long time, but we're going to show you, like, just, like, parts of it, but...
And it's, like, I like how they cut, like, like you were saying, like, a very emotionally tense moment, and then literally juxtaposing with, like, kind of, a very tense moment, I guess you could say. Like, tense in an epic, like, sci-fi kind of way. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, shit, like, the universe is about to end or whatever the fuck. And then cutting that with, like, something that's very emotional. So, it's like, I don't know. That was smart, I guess.
Yeah, it's clever. It's a really clever movie, and a lot of the, It's clever in its, like, storytelling, and it's also, like, the use of the gimmick. It's a good movie.
Yeah. And the action was all good.
I
thought the action was good, yeah. Some of the humor did not land for me.
That's like the weakest part. Is the humor was a little.
And like we were talking about that, like the Russos produced the movie, and they were like, you should put that. Not to shit on the Russos. I know the humor thing isn't really them, but it's the closest thing we can point as like an MCU tie to it. Well, you know what I mean? So
the Russos are like, they're smart guys. They're good.
Yeah.
Because they worked on Community.
I haven't watched Community, but
I actually feel like the Russos producing it might be connected more to the action because they really like that stuff. Because they, like. I don't know if do you know anything about Community?
Donald Glover's in it.
Donald Glover, yeah, he's fantastic. And he was in this.
He was in this?
Yeah. He did the mocap for The Rocks. He pushed around the rocks in the mocap suit.
Yeah. Are you serious? No. I was like, is that real?
No.
I was like, I didn't know about that.
They wanted to give him a quick check.
Yeah.
No, but they really enjoyed, like, because Community takes place in a college, community college, and they would find excuses to do, like, very stylized, action-heavy episodes, like, for some reason. And this feels like kind of like that. It's like there's like an emotional core to it and like a groundedness to it, but on the other side there's like this crazy action sci-fi stuff going on. So that kind of feels like their influence. Yeah. So I feel like that's maybe why they would be interested in a project like this.
But also the directors, they have a movie, the Swiss Army Man. It's kind of similar to that, like where it has like this fucking crazy story about this dude trying to get off an island stuck with the dead body. Who's Daniel Radcliffe. Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe are in it. But at the same time, it's like throughout the whole movie you're getting flashbacks about his like life before this shit happened to him, and then it's kind of like metaphorical him being alone on the island for like how he feels in his real life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's very similar to this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This weird premise.
But exactly.
It's like tied into the
exactly.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's clever. I'll be looking out for their next movie.
Yeah. Or you should see that too, Swiss Army Man.
I did.
I know. I remember you mentioned you haven't seen it. It's a good movie. Yeah.
Do you mind, Evan, if we move on and we talk? Oh, wait. Okay. Moon Knight. I give it 2 out of 3 stars.
Okay.
Cool. You haven't seen it, but so no rating for you.
No rating.
This one, what do you rate it?
I will give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. I also give it 2 out of 3 stars.
2 out of 3. Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
Next one. Let's talk about Nicolas Cage. And we haven't gotten to Freddy yet, and it's been about 20 minutes.
But we talked about the Nick Cage movie.
So, real quick, Nick Cage movie. Nick Cage movie was, I thought it was going to be really good. It was not.
I'm still going to see it next weekend when it comes out. I'll go see it. I'll let you know what I think.
But it's funny because that was the day. So, I got a big, beautiful TV, right?
Yes, you did. You did.
So, more RNS news. I got a big, beautiful TV.
Very nice.
And the day I bought it, I was not able to set it up because I needed to go buy different screws for the stand I got. Anyways. And then the next day was the day that screening was for, what's it called? Massive Talent.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, right?
Yeah. So I got off work, I went and bought the screws, and I went and saw the movie. And I was like, oh, damn, I really wanted to go set up my TV, but I'll go see the movie. I'm excited for the movie, too. I saw the movie, and, like, halfway through, I was like, damn, like, I wish... Like, I just went home and set up my TV, you know? Because I was like, damn, by the time I get home, it's going to be fucking, like, 10:30.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't even been home yet. Because I went to work, and then I went to Home Depot to get the screws, and then I walked around Target to wait for the movie to start, and then I went to the movie. And I was like, I just wasted my whole day, and this movie sucks. So I was, but at the same time, I was like, no matter what, I was going to see this movie because I was interested in it. So I guess at least I've seen it, so...
You got it out of the way.
But, yeah, I got it out of the way, because I was going to see it anyway. But, yeah, I'll skip. If it was good, I would have gone and seen it with you again, but it was, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because it was, the gimmick and everything seems really good. Like, oh, is Nick Cage, like, playing, like, a caricature, like, shitty actor version of himself, you know? It seems like it's going to be good. I thought it was going to be, like, some Uncut Gem shit, where it's like, oh, here's his time to shine. Like, he's going to be in a good movie, but... It was just some generic, like, this could... if this was a Netflix movie, I would not be surprised. Like, it seems like a Netflix movie.
So it's cheap? Not to say Netflix movies are cheap, but...
not that it's cheap. Actually, I would say it's, like... I feel like Adam Sandler's... Like, for example, Adam Sandler's Netflix movies, they're, like, a cut above his, like, really shitty movies from, like, 2010 and shit, like Jack and Jill. Like, they're better than that. They have, like, a better angle in that, and they're, like... They look better, and they're maybe a little funnier. So it feels like a somewhat competent, like, comedy, action comedy, drama, whatever. Not really a drama that much, but...
Is it just a straight up comedy?
It's pretty much just like an action comedy.
Okay.
I would say that the drama is like very one dimensional.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it doesn't play itself like that at all.
Okay.
Which I thought it was gonna be more dramatic. There's some good bits where like Nick Cage is like talking to his younger self in his head and stuff.
Really?
That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. And there's a nice moment with him and his daughter at the end, and like there's some okay stuff, but overall, yeah, the movie sucked.
I'm still excited to see it because I like Nick Cage a lot, so.
But it felt like it was trying to do like a It was trying too hard to be like a meta thing, but it didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
Like it was trying really hard to be meta, but it was kind of just like surface level. I don't know, it kind of sucked. And also it was distracting that Nicolas Cage is playing himself, and a bunch of the supporting actors are already like really famous actors, but they're not playing themselves. Yeah. Like Neil Patrick Harris and Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I agree. That's weird.
That kind of bothered me. I was like, yeah.
It should have been like This Is the End. You know what I mean? They're literally all themselves.
And I remember Nicolas Cage said in like an interview, he was like, "Oh, like what if
I didn't even think about that. It's kind of weird. Like, you know when the scene with him and Neil Patrick Harris like chilling in the sauna?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just saying, just based off what you're saying, I feel like that would have been funny if it actually just with Neil Patrick Harris. They were just chilling with him.
The thing is, too, that's such a small role. And he plays like his agent.
Yeah.
You could have just made it Neil Patrick Harris and be like, "Oh, hey Nick, like I want to put you on with my friend that's making a movie or some shit." Like he didn't have to
be his agent. Yeah,
it wasn't that integral to the movie.
Yeah.
He wasn't in it very much. So, but Nicolas Cage was like, "Oh, it'd be funny if a different actor played me. Just get someone else." And then like they really wanted him to do it, so he did it.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage doesn't like this movie. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I did it or whatever, but I'm not gonna watch it. Like I don't really like it. It's not like a representation of me that I appreciate or whatever."
I think I did see that actually. Yeah.
And that made me almost not want to see it. But then I was like, "Oh, it looks really good though."
Yeah.
And maybe it's just too personal. It's like, "Oh, it's my name. Like I'm representing me, but it's not right." Like, but it's like, well, I understand. You're not really playing yourself. You're playing like a cartoon version of yourself. Like, but. It turns out that it had nothing to do with, like, his portrayal of himself. Well, I mean, I'm not speaking for him, but I thought it was... He was saying it might be bad for that reason, but it was bad for a different reason to me. It was just not good. The movie. It had nothing to do with Nick Cage. I actually thought Nick Cage was, like, himself, like, pretty good in it. He was funny. He's cool. I like Nick Cage, but... It sucks.
Sucks to hear.
It just felt like some generic bullshit, kind of.
I'll let you know what I think when I see it.
I think I'm like 99% sure you'll agree.
Yeah, me too. It never looked great to me, but I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. The Nick Cage, the gimmick is funny. I know you're a big fan of Pedro Pascal. He's in it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Pedro Pascal guy. So Maxwell Lord, Mandalorian.
I was like, Dylan's actually seen a lot of Pedro stuff.
I love Pedro. What else is he in?
I forgot there was something else. I was like, oh shit, Dylan actually did see that with him.
Did I?
I had to look it up really quick. And then we can finally talk about Freddy Got Fingered. Pedro.
I love Pedro.
What was it? Oh, apparently he was in If Beale Street Could Talk. We saw that.
Oh, yeah,
we did see that. What was it that was... Oh, We Can Be Heroes.
Oh,
he was in that.
He is in that. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I saw that.
Anyway, so yeah. I'll see it, and I'll let you know what I think.
Sucks.
But, should we get into Freddy Got Fingered now?
Yeah.
If you're ready.
I give that movie 1 out of 3 stars.
Oh, you're talking about the Nick Cage movie?
Yeah, Freddy Got Fingered. Guess what? I give it 3 out of 3
3
stars.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
classic.
Before we talk about Freddy, should we crack open the White Claw?
Yeah, so we're gonna be like
ready? Ready?
Well, sure.
Oh no, you say it first.
We're gonna be like shitty like YouTube video game reviewers where we're like, oh, I'm gonna have to get drunk to talk about this. Oh, it's so bad.
Cheers.
I
thought you were about to crack home, so I was like, wait, should we do it now? Okay. The delicious White Claw, of course. This is my first time drinking a White Claw, so there you go, RNS.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're drinking a White Claw. This is the lamest thing I've drank during the podcast. Sorry, Joey, if you're listening.
No, White Claw's epic.
So, Evan, Freddy Got Fingered.
A great movie.
Great film.
Great movie.
No, so that YouTube reviewer thing was a joke. I love this movie.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
It was both of our first time seeing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was good.
I would say I loved it.
Okay, yeah. No, that's understandable. I'm not gonna show it.
Lately, I've been really into. I don't know how to put it exactly. Like, people that just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like.
Me too. I respect that.
like shows like Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
Where it's like, not. I mean, if you can finish a production, like, good job. You know, I'm sure that shit's hard.
Yeah.
But
it's funny you talk about Aqua Teen Hunger Force though, because we can get into Adult Swim. But continue.
Oh yeah,
we get into Adult Swim.
Some more Adult Swim later, but I just really like the what's the word for it? Like irreverence.
I guess.
Is that it? I don't know. Like they just.
This is an irreverent comedy. Put that on the fucking cover of the DVD for real.
That's such a lame pull.
Yeah.
This is an irreverent comedy. It sounds like nothing. It's like probably every comedy is. But yeah, I like. Not that they don't give a shit about their craft or whatever, but I like they don't care about your sensibilities.
Yeah.
I guess that's a way to put it. Aqua Teen Hunger Force like this. You can get away more with it in animation, I think. Yeah. It's kind of unique to see it in like a live action movie. And especially. Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say like there was a time, and we'll get into this too, I'm sure, where there was these like weird relationship, like early 20s comedies, like in like the 2000s.
We mentioned Shallow Hal.
Yeah, we were talking about that before, where there's some similarities, but yeah, those like kind of raunchy early 20s college guy comedies.
Yes, or like Van Wilder, shit like that.
And they're so formulaic, and this movie kind of.
I didn't think about that when I was watching it, but it very clearly is a parody of like those late 90s, early 2000s. Like
I think what happened was like they were like, oh, make
bro comedies, if that's the way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a bro. Kind of like I don't know if frat guys would watch like Shallow Hal.
Maybe.
Probably.
Shallow Hal's a classic, though. I'm not shitting on Shallow Hal.
They're kind of like anti-rom-coms.
Yeah.
Like American Pie.
Yeah.
Like from the early 2000s. So it's really funny to see like a surreal kind of.
It is very surreal.
Version of that. It's so good. I love it. You know what's so funny? So this time we'll mention the plot real quick.
Yeah. It doesn't even really have a fucking plot. Like, it kind of does.
It definitely does. But
it's never focused on one thing for too long.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It matters the least out of anything in the movie.
Yeah.
Literally, I think. But the one part that's so fucking funny to me. So if you don't know the movie, right? If you never heard of this movie and you're like, oh, let's hear what RNS has to say this week, right? Like all of you do. This is one of my favorite parts. Okay, so his wheelchair-bound girlfriend, right, is for the first time she's going to suck his dick. She has an oral fixation.
She does.
She's a bit of an oral fixation. So she's going to suck Freddy's dick for the first time. He's like,
not Freddy. Freddy's in brother.
Oh, Freddy's in the movies.
Which we can talk about too. Yeah.
It's hilarious. Okay, what is his name? Gord.
Gord,
which is Tom Green's character. So she goes to suck his dick for the first time, and she starts pulling. He's like, "No, stop!" And then she's like, he's like, "It's our first date. Like, you don't do it. Like, we should go on a date first." And he's like pulling, and finally he like relents, and then she gets his pants off. And he's like, "Okay, fine." And then his fucking umbilical cord hangs out.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What is this?"
It wasn't his, was it?
I think
he stole it from earlier. Yeah, he stole it because that happened before that. Immediately before that.
He tells her
that it's his. Yeah.
And he's like, I taped it back on for fun. And then she's like, I can work around it.
Yeah, so it's like very nonsensical.
And none of that has anything to do with anything.
Yeah,
none of that comes back. It's just like, because if that happened in any other movie, it'd be like that would be the main plot. Like,
yeah. Yes. Exactly.
That would be, like the main focus of the movie is like this guy's a fucking serial killer or something. I don't know, but Stuff like that happens every like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Where it's some fucking. It's like the most insane thing you've ever seen in every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's
literally like the baby thing. Where he delivers a fucking baby and he bites off the umbilical cord. That was actually kind of disturbing to watch. I was like, Jesus Christ.
That
and the deer thing. I didn't like that either.
For me, the two most disturbing parts were the umbilical cord was bad, but even worse for me, in the cartoon at the end, his dad, like, it's I guess it's supposed to be like The Simpsons or something when people make like a cartoon or a show and they're like, oh, it's like based on my family. So the cartoon he makes at the end is based on his family.
Where they're half zebras.
They're half zebras, and it's really funny because he was like, oh yeah, they're from Africa. They're from Africa. They come from Africa. They're immigrants, and they're all white.
Yeah.
God damn. It's really funny in my opinion. But anyways, the version of his dad in the cartoon that he makes, they show part of the cartoon at the end.
Yeah.
The dad is like, get a job, get a fucking job.
Yeah.
Why don't you ever get a fucking job? And then he reaches into his mouth and rips his jaw.
Yeah,
And then he throws him on the ground and ties him up. And then he drags him on the car. And his exposed teeth are dragging on the concrete. Yes. That, for me, was the most disturbing.
That reminded me of modern SpongeBob. You know that clip where Squidward gets his toenail ripped off? That shit.
The weird era of SpongeBob where they had like hyper violence.
Yeah,
I don't think they really do that anymore.
I don't know.
But they were doing that for a while.
It was not good.
Or like an Itchy and Scratchy.
It was unnecessary. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, like, even though it was a cartoon, I was like, oh god. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That toenail thing's disturbing. In SpongeBob, I don't like that.
That's bad. It's almost more disturbing that Squidward has a toenail.
Yeah.
Like, than it being ripped off. But anyways. So, Evan, I guess I'll summarize. You mind if I summarize the plot?
Of course, go ahead.
Tom Green is a schlub.
He is.
He has a family. He has a mom, a dad, and a brother. And
he has a skateboard.
So that's one thing that I forgot, right? Is that Tom Green is a skateboarder.
Is he?
He started off as like a pro skater, like Tony Hawk, I think.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And then he became like a MTV personality.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
He looks like that type.
But he's cool.
Jason Lee-esque type. Former skateboarder turned...
Yeah, that's another one where it's like... When I think Jason Lee, the last thing I think is he's a skateboarder. But yeah, he is. I think like fucking balding with a mustache.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's about Tom Green. He's a piece of shit. He has a dead-end job. He wants to be a cartoonist.
He does.
And, that's about it.
Pretty much,
That's kind of all the premise of the movie.
Yeah, it's funny how they have that setup in the beginning. This is kind of what you're talking about. Like any other movie, this would be like the main plot. Like this, it's like the setup is, oh, he's moving to California, and it's literally like 20 minutes, and then he comes back home. Yeah, it's like so ridiculous. It's like you think that's gonna be the rest of the movie, like him trying to make it in California, but it's like you said, only 20 minutes, and he comes back.
Yeah, there's so much shit that they just something fucking insane happens.
Yeah,
and then they just move on. I wanted to mention another part that really stuck with me. This is one of my favorite parts of the entire movie. So they hear, I think Gord, Tom Green, he's taking a shower for too long. He's in the shower for too long.
When Dad flushes the toilet,
and his dad flushes the. Yeah, there's a lot of things that it's like that's like a cheesy joke that would be on a sitcom, and they just kind of say it. Like there's one part where the Freddy, Gord's brother, is like at the table eating dinner. And it's right before the shower part. Yeah. He's like, hey, he's taking the shower too long. Why doesn't he save the water for the fishes, Dad? Yeah. Right, Dad? And then they just move on. It's so fucking funny. And then the dad is so mean. Like it's so funny.
Yeah.
And he flushes the toilet. He's like, cold enough for you, Gord. And then he breaks in the bathroom. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, Gord? And then like he pulls the shower, and Gord's like in his scuba gear.
Yeah, in the scuba gear.
And God, man.
That remind me of Big Daddy.
Yeah. It's one of the 2 times where I can remember orange scuba gear in a bathroom. But, it's so fucking funny. Like, no, seriously, like, genuinely, Tom Green is fucking hilarious.
He is,
like,
yeah.
Everyone, like, not everyone, but, I don't know, people hate on this movie. They're like, oh, it's the shittiest movie. It's funny to me, too, because for years I heard this was the shittiest. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Mm-hmm. For years, I heard this was like, oh, this is like one of the worst movies ever made. It's clearly like a shitpost movie. Yeah,
I was going to say, we were talking about this before, but it's like, for me, this literally cannot be the shittiest movie of all time, because to me, that like implies like incompetence. Where this, I would not say it's incompetent, because it's very clearly shitty on purpose. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It didn't turn out like this because they fucked up.
Yeah.
It turned out like this because they were like, wouldn't it be funny if this movie was fucking like insane?
Yeah, exactly.
And I like it. I love it.
And I've seen a lot of people describe it this, but I guess it's a good way to put it. People describe it as like anti-comedy. Which, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. Well, I mean, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say trying to not be funny or trying to be funny, either one way or the other. It's just kind of like, fuck what you think is funny. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
Insane.
Yeah.
That's all it's trying to do.
Yeah. And almost kind of shocking in a way. You know what I mean?
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
And we just talked about this. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So we didn't get into this, right? But in that movie, part of the way that you are able to harness the other universes is by doing the last thing that you would do.
Yeah. And that's like everything in this fucking movie. Yeah.
It's like every scene, there's like, people are doing things that's like the opposite of anything anyone would ever
Cut
do.
open the deer and get inside of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, shit like that.
And he gets to go to a different universe or whatever.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's funny, that connection.
Yeah,
So I did want to finish talking about that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally one of my favorite parts in the whole movie, right? So Gord has been taking so long in the shower because, like I said, he's been in the scuba gear.
Yeah.
And he's been standing in the shower, presumably waiting for someone to come in. And then he starts screaming, because he wasn't screaming before, but he starts screaming once his dad comes in. He's like, I'm playing in the ocean! I'm scuba diving in the ocean, Daddy! And then he pulls out the soap on a rope, and he's like, I found this treasure! Daddy, I found this treasure! And he throws it in the toilet. But no, the fucking funniest part is there's like a special effect, right? Like he grabs Gord and pulls him through the shower fixture, and the entire thing like fucking falls down like an action movie. And he's like, get out of my scuba gear, you fucking... And he says bad words, right? I don't know if he calls him the F word or something, but... That part is fucking hilarious. It was. Because that's not like... Because it feels very random and like crazy, but it's like they had to prepare that special effect.
Yeah.
And that special effect, like we said, that goes nowhere. Like, it doesn't matter that he got pulled out of the shower like the Incredible Hulk. Like, but it happens.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Or like his friend doing the skateboarding and fucking breaking open. Like, his leg literally like snaps open.
And he starts licking it.
Yeah.
For no reason. Yeah, because that's another thing that's like, what is it called? That movie. Everything All at Once.
Like his fucking gaping wound.
Like the exposed bone. It's really funny. God damn. Evan, so that was one of my favorite parts.
Oh, and...
The shower?
You know when he's in the hospital later, his friend with his leg up? He like grab his leg? He like grabs his fucking leg.
Yeah, because I forget... And like I said, Tom Green is fucking hilarious because I forget what he says exactly before that, but he's like, are you feeling better? Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Like, and he starts fucking shaking it. And he's like, no. This other friend is so funny.
And then he proceeds to deliver that fucking lady. Oh, it's so funny that he's just next to, like, a pregnant lady. Because obviously that wouldn't... Like, they wouldn't put this dude next to the pregnant... And she keeps saying, shut up, I'm pregnant. That shit.
Yeah, and he's like... I forget what he says exactly. He's like, I'm sorry, I'll be quiet. I forgot you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, some shit like... It's so stupid. And then there's Native American, like, old... Like Native American women playing like tambourines and stuff.
Yeah, when he starts delivering the baby.
And like you said, like it makes no fucking sense because. But it's funny too because it's like, oh, in a romantic comedy, maybe the male lead would like have to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
But like it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's like the baby comes out not alive.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, wake up the baby! Oh, wake up the
baby! And he starts swinging.
He grabs the umbilical cord and he swings it around hard as shit.
That also reminded me, it's funny when I was watching I thought about it, that also reminded me of Everything Everywhere All at Once. When the lady swings around the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you think, like, oh my god, that's kind of, like, edgy or whatever. But then this literally swinging a fucking baby.
Baby.
You know what I mean? That's, like, pushing it even further, you know, with the fucking umbilical cord. But it reminded me of that. I was like, oh, shit.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe, because it does have that kind of Freddy Got Fingered quality of, like, obviously it's not nearly as edgy or, like, surreal.
Yeah,
But it does have that element of, like, oh, nutty stuff's happening all around the corner. Like, kind of,
yeah, like when they had to put shit up their ass. Yeah. In that movie, yeah.
Or like just the random worlds they would cut to. And...
That's interesting. I was not expecting that connection.
Yeah,
but
weird. But Evan, what was one of your favorite moments in the film? Because one of mine was definitely the scuba one. Where he pulls him and crashes him through the wall.
We kind of mentioned this earlier, but we can talk about it. His first date, I guess you could say, with I forgot her name, the girl in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And she's like asking him to cane her fucking leg.
Yeah. That whole part is hilarious.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, you think it's like it's kind of like an act of like, the way they're treating it's like a crazy like BDSM act, but he's like smacking her paralyzed legs. Yeah. And I don't know. For me, it was like, we were talking about this before we started the podcast, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I can't speak to the world of paralyzed people sex, but I don't know, something about that felt really real to me. Where he's like trying to feel something, she's like, yeah, oh my god, like smack my legs. But and the way he played up, it's just funny as fuck because he's like, I forgot what he's saying, but he's like caning her. I forgot what he's saying, but then he's like, yeah, you like that, and then he like hits her in the face. And he's like, she's like, my face isn't paralyzed, you fucking idiot, or whatever the fuck. That shit was funny as fuck.
Dude, no, seriously, I don't think we can do the movie justice because there's a lot of little stuff that you don't think about, but a lot of Tom Green's dialogue and stuff is really funny.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me because, like I said, this is the first... I haven't saw it last week, I saw it this week. It's hard to remember the specific dialogue, too, because it also makes no fucking sense, but it's really funny a lot of the time. And, like...
Or when he breaks into the cartoonist's office or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny as fuck. And, like, his interaction with Drew Barrymore, where he's like, his wife died. That shit was funny. The Drew Barrymore cameo was interesting because apparently they were married briefly, Tom Green and her. I did not know that.
They were. And at the end, there's a little behind-the-scenes thing where it's like, they like, love each other. It's like, do they? I guess.
I read their marriage was very short-lived.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, wow, you're the funniest man on the planet. Like, wow. And that didn't last.
She found out he was a troll.
He has a little bit of trolling. Yeah, it turns out she just thought it was like a really good rom-com.
Yeah.
She thinks he's really talented.
He is.
Oh, yeah, he is. But not in the fucking mainstream way anymore, I would think.
And yeah, the way he like starts pitching his cartoon.
Yeah.
The fucking, what was his initial cartoon? The guy who, what was it, a duck? I can't remember. Who could see through the doors?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember.
It's like, it's something. Some type of animal.
Yeah, and they can see through the doors. It was a cat, I think. And they can see, that's their
X-ray
superpower.
cat.
Yeah, you can see through the doors.
Really cool
and the way he's like pitching it was funny as fuck. He's like, he can see through the doors. And then it's just like random shit that has nothing to do with the cat.
And then he's like, and then there's a tombstone that has legs. And then he just keeps pitching random shit. And it's like, it's a great cartoon.
That was really funny. Anthony Michael Hall was playing like the, I don't know.
The executive.
Yeah, whatever. It was funny as fuck. He's just like, this makes no fucking sense. This is stupid.
I really like the line, too, where he's like, actually put some effort in, give it a story, give it a chance, work on it for years, and then if it doesn't work, then kill yourself.
Kill yourself.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It was. That
was awesome. But he was good. And
he was.
I liked how later, he barely put some story to it. Like, he was like, there's these zebra people, and they come to America.
Yeah.
And then but then it just turned, it's like Christian. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to mention Christian.
Yeah. No, but, never be sorry for mentioning.
But it's really fucking funny. So if you don't know, really, very quickly, I don't want to spend too long on Christian, but if you don't know, Christian is like this nutty character. He's a deeply troubled, mentally challenged person.
Deeply troubled. And
he really became the most famous. The thing that got him famous in the first place was he made these terrible self-insert comics.
It is kind of similar to that, yeah.
They were supposed to be about this character, this cartoon character, but really, all the villains, everything that happens were all like people inserted from his life. And it reminds me of that because it's like, the second that it stops, like, the second that you're introduced to those zebra people, and then you realize the dad is like, get a fucking job, and it's like the same thing, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense because the show's pitch is like, oh, they're immigrants, and they're half zebra, half people, and they have to deal with discrimination from both sides, and then it just turns into his life. It reminded me, it's like very...
And Christian made Sonichu before this movie, I think. Didn't he make it during the 90s, Sonichu?
He made Sonichu, before this movie.
90s. He's a blueprint, bro.
Christian, there's a lot of things, Christian. You can talk. So again, if you don't know Christian, look him up. It's a fun ride. Gamer from Mars.
Yeah, he did some documentary on him.
Because Geno Samuel is famous for doing the comprehensive Christian stuff, where it's like fucking 80 hours long. Which there is, if you don't know about Christian, there is
80 hours worth of content.
80 hours worth of content for sure. But Gamer from Mars did a cool, like, concise. It was like it's 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's a good one, and also there's...
He met him, didn't he?
He met Christian, so that
means he was working on it for a while, because he's currently in jail.
Yeah.
I won't spoil that, why he's in jail, if you don't know.
He was in jail, that's a spoiler, if I ever heard of one.
Right, he's still in jail now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that means he was working on the documentary for a while, I guess, yeah.
Which is crazy because imagine making the Christian documentary and then you have to pivot your
because of that.
So hard. Yeah. Because Chris went to jail
for a really horrible reason too. Yeah.
He didn't get cut off because if you look up the Christian shit, he's done tons of things that would get normal people jail time. But the prosecutors are like, oh, he's like, himself.
Yeah.
He's mentally handicapped, so we'll go easy on him. Like, he's assaulted people, he's hit people with his car, he's sprayed people with pepper spray for no reason, he's trespassed on places he's banned from. He's done, plenty of terrible things that he should have gone to jail for.
He finally went a step too far.
But he finally did one of those, like, 7 deadly sin, like, federal crime type deals that they were like, okay, you have to go to jail. But anyways, enough Christian. But the main character does have a Christian element to him.
Kind of.
He does feel a bit Christian-esque. But it's just really funny to me, too. I got on that huge Christian tangent. But he barely put any effort in.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, oh, go change that. And then the funny part is, like, the executive is like, this is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
How does $1 million sound right now?
That's so ridiculous too. He's like, yeah, $1 million. The pitch, that was funny as fuck, that scene where his dad like breaks in and starts like beating his ass.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my god, the pitch is amazing. Like he thought he hired an actor to do that.
He's like, where'd you get that actor?
Yeah.
Wow. And we didn't mention, so in the very beginning of the movie, it's a parody of like we said, like those R-rated comedies and also like a coming of age story.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, he's, like we said, he moves to California for like 20 minutes of road time. And in the beginning, when he's sending him off, the dad... Wait, where was I going with this?
He buys him the new car.
Yeah, he buys him the new car, but there's something else. Oh, the part where he's about to pull off the new car, and they're like...
It's like so heartwarming at first,
proud.
yeah.
And he's like, proud. And they just keep saying it back to each other for no reason. Yeah, and then... Yeah, of course, and then he like almost runs people. He's like, get the fuck out of the way! It's really funny. That part is great too. But yeah, props to Tom Green for that.
Yeah.
I fuck with that dude.
Yeah, me too.
There's no way you can't fuck with Tom Green. He's like the Tom Holland of 2000s comedy.
Of course.
You can't not fuck with him.
I haven't seen his show, but like apparently it's very similar. It's like it's trollish, I guess you would say.
He's a bit of a troll.
Yeah.
He does a bit of trolling.
He does. I don't know what the show. Do you know what the show is like at all?
It's kind of like Eric Andre show.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
He does some like man on the street stuff, like where he's. I think this was Tom Green. It might have been something else. I'm 99% sure it was a clip from the Tom Green show, and someone goes up to, because he had like other people that also were on the show. It wasn't just him. It was someone else. But they walked up to this black lady on the street and they were like, name 3 white people for $1.
Was that in his show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or what? Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that. But I know that one guy who voiced fucking Timon in Lion King. He has a show that's like that where he like talks to people on the street.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what his name is, but that's what it means. That he like gives them money or whatever.
Yeah. I guess that's a lot of man on the street things.
Yeah.
They want people to participate, but it's just like, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Name 3 white people for $1.
But yeah, it's funny you brought up Eric Andre because we were talking about this before the show. But the comedy, the style of the comedy in this movie, and even that cartoon at the end, is very Adult Swim-esque.
Yeah.
And then this movie came out the same year Adult Swim started, and so I don't know if there's like any influence there, or even maybe just from his show because his show was even before this movie.
Well, I mentioned this to you earlier, but I think Adult Swim, kind of came out of MTV. In a way.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Like you mentioned Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead and probably some other bullshit.
Yeah.
And then also, like we were saying, like the Tom Greens of the world.
Yeah.
They had like the kind of the comedy like that on MTV. There's a few other shows.
Or like the X-Ray Cat thing. That feels like an Adult Swim cartoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's something like with a very stupid premise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like just ridiculous.
I love X-Ray Cat.
Yeah. Me too. Our Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
We were talking about that before.
Like we have a cartoon where fucking food is the superheroes. Or you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and it felt very Freddy Got Fingered too because, Aqua Teen Hunger Force specifically because it's like, they're food, but they're superheroes. But it's just a sitcom where they don't do any superhero stuff.
Exactly.
So it's very Freddy Got Fingered in that way. It's
yeah.
Like, we're telling you it's one thing, and then it's just not for no reason.
When I was watching the movie, and towards the end when he shows his cartoon like fully animated at the end, I was like, this feels like an Adult Swim cartoon.
It does.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It does. Especially
like Squidbillies, something like that. You know what I mean? Oh, they're hillbillies, but they're squids. You know, yeah, exactly, like some shit like that. So it's very funny. I don't know if that's like if there's any inspiration there or not, but
I think it kind of boils down to like Tom Green's sensibility and an Adult Swim or an MTV sensibility. At least MTV at the right time.
Yeah.
MTV isn't that anymore. It's just like fucking
bullshit reality TV.
Yeah, it's like shitty reality shows now. But MTV used to have that Adult Swim type of sensibility. Where it's like, if they're talented, let them do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I respect that about Adult Swim.
And it's funny you brought up Eric Andre. I think because they have a very similar sense of comedy. I think Tom Green and him. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think they do.
So yeah, props to Tom Green. I don't think many people give him the credit he deserves.
No, he's the GOAT. And I actually watched a bit of his podcast recently.
Oh, he has a podcast?
It was pretty good. Actually, it's kind of funny because he was like one of the first guys.
Really?
Because he used to have like, he was on Joe Rogan, which I watched a long time ago. And Tom Green had a podcast, and like he was like one of the Kevin Smith people. Mm-hmm. You know, Kevin Smith's like one of the first podcasters.
Yeah.
Deal. Uh-huh. So yeah, Tom Green had one too in like 2000 or some shit.
That long ago in 2000?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, he was one of the first people. So that's kind of badass. And I was listening to he had an episode with Norm Macdonald. That I was watching. It was from like 2014. Mm-hmm. That was a good episode.
Actually, I did think I saw a clip of that on YouTube. Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I mean, I saw it on like the recommended or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fuck with Tom Green. I fuck with Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, of course.
God rest his soul.
Rest in peace, Gilbert. Over here, we got to say that. Rest in peace, Gilbert.
Gilbert Gottfried. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Smiling Friends alum.
Yeah, Smiling Friends alum. Was he on there?
I
didn't know that. No, who did he play?
Yeah, it's really funny because like there's this episode where, oh yeah, you know how we were talking about this when we were looking at the episodes. There's one that says Charlie goes to hell and doesn't come back, or like Charlie dies. But yeah, he goes to hell, and at the end, like the devil basically like tricks Charlie and like tries to go back on their deal, and then like God comes down and he's like, a deal's a deal, and it's Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
And he like saves Charlie, and he's like Charlie, I hope you learn something from this cool fucking adventure, and then he throws him into the earth. It's really funny.
I need to watch it.
God rest his soul. God rest his soul. Gilbert Gottfried's a talented guy. He's a funny guy.
But
or he was.
Well, he was. Rest in peace, of course. But yeah, so Tom Green, he needs to get some credit, but not to knock on this movie. I'm not at all, because it's funny in its own way, of course, as we mentioned. But I've seen some people. I think at the same time, like some people have given it too much credit.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
Because I saw like I was reading just on Wikipedia. I forgot who said some critics like comparing him to like Jean-Luc Godard, or people saying like, oh, it's a surrealist masterpiece. I don't think it's that deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say that giving him too much credit, but it kind of is. Because I think it's more like we were mentioning, like kind of a no fucks given kind of the deal.
Yeah, it's either. I feel like this movie is like if we saw this in 2003.
Yeah, well, I don't think he was trying to be smart or anything like that. I think he just was like, I'm gonna do like he's a troll. You know what I mean? He's just like, I'm gonna do like whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is the kind of movie that you can't laugh at. Like a movie like The Room, you can laugh at.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna hate it, or you're gonna laugh with it.
Yeah.
You can't laugh at it.
I wouldn't even, because like people consider The Room one of the worst movies ever made. I would not compare this to The Room, because The Room is different because it's very clearly shittily made.
Yeah.
Like Tommy Wiseau, he thought he was making like a genius drama. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing too, is like.
And that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can laugh at The Room. You can't really laugh at this.
Because
it's just
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone knows exactly what they're doing, it's like, but that's a key thing too, like you were saying, like, about how I think that's why people might have thought it was bad at the time. Because they didn't think someone could make this on purpose.
Yeah,
that makes sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
and in that way, like we were kind of mentioning, it is ahead of its time, I think.
Exactly.
For that style of comedy.
Yeah, that style of comedy was not a thing back then.
Like, say, if Eric Andre made this movie now, I think people would be like, oh my god, that's like, it was so stupid, isn't that funny?
So stupid, so smart.
Yeah.
But I agree with
so
you.
So it is intelligent, but not in that way. Like I've seen people give too much. Like, oh, it's a surrealist master. Like, no, it's not that deep. I don't think.
I think you're going too far.
Yeah.
But it is interesting though. I do want to mention this. I was reading you a Letterboxd review or showing you. I didn't read it. But I was showing you a Letterboxd review earlier of Freddy Got Fingered. So I was looking up, like, Watch By It shows your mutuals.
Yeah.
Letterboxd is a movie app, if you don't know.
Of course.
It's become a bit of a meme, so I guess some people know about it. But it was pretty low-key for a long time.
It was.
But, I looked at my mutuals reviews of Freddy Got Fingered when I went and rated it. And this guy has a fucking a novella about how fucking genius Freddy Got Fingered was. And he gave it 4 stars, and I gave it 5 stars.
It just seems like, I feel like even Tom Green would be like, bro, it's not that deep. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Because it's literally just, I feel like he would be like, it's just my show with a bigger budget.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know. Because I definitely, well, I guess what I'm getting at is, I give him huge props for, like, his sense of humor and his willingness to go there, but it's definitely not, like, a work of genius.
No. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
No. That being said, though, I did rate it higher than that guy that sucked his dick. But I feel like, I don't know. I think I mentioned this on the podcast before. I've definitely mentioned it to you. But when there's a movie where I can tell it's, like, very creator-driven, like, it's very personal, I rate it very high.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that. And this movie is obviously, like, he directed and starred in it. I think he wrote it or co-wrote it.
Yeah.
Like, Tom Green. This is Tom Green's movie. It's, like, the Tom Green movie.
Yeah, definitely. You can very clearly tell he had, like, full creative control of what was going on in this.
And I love movies like that.
Yeah.
And most of the time, if I realistically, I'd probably give the movie like a 3.5. Like in another context, but the fact that I know is this one guy's vision for this movie, and he just wanted to shit on the world, like, I don't know, like, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I just really appreciate that.
It was like, I remember you mentioning this before. It's like, oh, they're like, yeah, well, Tom Green, your show's successful. We're just gonna give you a big budget, and you just kind of like, oh, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want me to make a movie? I'll show you a movie.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not that deep. It's really just him, like we mentioned, just kind of trolling.
But that's really funny. Is like, they mentioned that on Red Letter Media, like the way he gets the money at the end.
Yeah.
is like that's him.
Yeah.
Like, that's him getting the money for the budget for the movie.
Yeah.
And just shitting it out.
It's funny. Sorry, it's kind of off topic. But
no, okay.
It's funny how the fucking title of the movie has, like, nothing to do with the movie. Yeah.
That is another.
They feel like the most shocking thing, I guess, they could possibly name it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
But I did hear recently, I was watching, it might have been the Red Letter Media video. I think I watched a couple things that were Freddy Got Fingered.
And I think that is why he named it that. Just because it was the most shocking
thing he was able to put in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't call the movie Elephant Cum.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That is a thing, too, yeah.
It's the most edgy thing you can get away with calling it, yeah.
Putting, like, a curse you see them both jerking off a horse and jerking off an elephant in this movie.
It's so fucking funny when Gord pulls over.
At the very beginning,
It's the very beginning of the movie, and he's driving to California, and he just sees a horse.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What is this? What is this?" And he, like, runs over, jumps the fence, and he starts just stroking the cock of the horse.
No, they were stroking it. He strokes the elephant cock later.
Yeah.
They're like, I forgot, there's like a stud for him, or whatever the fuck they say, yeah. They were stroking the horse. He was like, what are you doing that horse?
Well, yeah. Yeah, because he's like, what are you doing that horse? And then he runs over and starts doing it.
Does he start doing? Okay.
He starts jerking it off.
Okay.
But yeah, they were like harvesting the cum.
Oh,
from
yeah,
the horse,
yeah.
like, which is, I guess, something they do, which, that's kind of fucked up. But anyways, that was really fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
he pulls over. He's just eating a sandwich, and then he slams on the brakes, and he has to go stroke the horse. There's another part I wanted to mention in the beginning of the movie. The very first thing you see is Tom Green laying in his bed, just laughing at his own drawing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's tells you something.
Well, what do you mean?
I feel like that.
It's like this movie.
Yeah, it's just
he just made something stupid as fuck that he can laugh at.
It's just Tom Green laughing at himself.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and it's great.
It is. I was surprised, not that Rip Torn's like a super famous, like, classic, well-respected actor. I mean, he's a well-respected actor, but like, he's not like Marlon Brando or some shit. But like, I was just surprised that he like signed on to do this. And like, there's that scene where he's like, it's after he gets accused of fucking fingering Freddy, and they take Freddy away. It's so ridiculous. It's like he punished for what happened to him. You know what I mean? Because nothing happened to the dad for this.
No, it's really fucking.
But it's like the son is punished for getting fingered, allegedly.
No, it's really.
And they take him to like a place for like sexually abused children.
Which
or whatever.
Basically is an insane asylum.
Yeah.
But what's really
and they treat him like a child, even though he's an adult man. Yeah.
He's 25.
Yeah, like Freddy. They're both adult. They were both adults. I'm not Freddy, like Gord.
Yeah. But one part that was really fucking funny to me about that whole is because, like you said, like they're in therapy. The whole family's in therapy, and then. I guess, like, for no reason, Gord is like, "You fingered Freddy!" Yeah,
because he was, like, calling him a loser or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And then the therapist is like... the therapist is like, these are very serious accusations. And then she calls the police, and then Freddy's like, "You're gonna go away for a long time! Like, you can never hurt us again!" And he's like, he, like, crawls up into the window. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
He, like, crawls up into the
That's
window.
the picture on Letterboxd. It's him on the window, yeah. Not the poster, but you know, like they have like the, I don't know what you fucking call it, but anyways.
Yeah, it's him up in the window, and then it cuts, and then the therapist and the police come, and they take away Freddy, and they don't. Nothing happens. Like you said, nothing happens.
He's not punished for it at all.
And it's really funny because Freddy's like, "My dad didn't finger me. I'm 25," and then they're like taking him away, and then he's like, "What did I do wrong?" And then they're like, "That's one thing you need to know. It is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong." And then they don't take away the dad, and they take him away. Yeah, and then they put him in the fucking insane asylum with children. And that's really funny too. Is like they're watching fucking like a horror movie.
Yeah, they're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The reason I knew Texas Chainsaw Massacre is from the really fucking disturbing part where he Leatherface put the chick on the hook. There's a really fucked up part. But yeah, I was like, oh shit, the kids are just watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was funny.
And then it's really funny too because it cuts.
Yeah, and they're watching like some kiddie ass shit on their TV, right?
They're watching, and then they cuts, and then Gord is like, he's like shoving a pencil up his nose and watching Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too because the dad is like, "Don't you try and act grown up." And it's just like, what the fuck what is this trying to say?
It's ridiculous.
Oh my god. It really does feel like, and people say this all the time, but it feels like this might be the best depiction of like a terrible dream I've ever seen.
I guess so.
Because there's some tiny underlying of like meaning, like a tiny.
Yeah.
Because like there's bits and pieces here and there where it's like there's some genuine kind of Hollywood storyline, but it's always being like lambasted and like, subverted. But it's kind of there. Yeah,
kind of.
And it's like a dream where it's like there's some tiny baseline of logic that you need to have to even perceive something. You know what I mean? Like there has to be something, and I think
for me, it's like I feel like it's like the relationship between him and his dad. Because that's kind of the heart of the movie, I guess, if you want to say, if there is one.
I think for me, probably the heart of the movie is, like, creativity.
I guess so, yeah.
But I guess the dad thing is, like, pretty big.
Yeah.
But that also, like, the creativity is, like, seen through that lens of, like, the dad, like, that classic
It comes
trope,
from his, yeah.
The trope of, like, the dad's disapproval of the son's art or whatever, or his passion. But, yeah, it's just interesting, like, how abstract can you get?
Yeah.
It's interesting because, like I said, there is that, like, what I mean to say, I guess, is how abstract can you get and still call it a movie?
Yeah.
Because you can still kind of barely call this a movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like,
yeah. Because
it's still kind of using that classic structure of this kind of movie and all those tropes, but I think it's about as close as you can get to not being a movie.
It definitely takes it to the edge.
Or it's like, honestly, this is better than, like, Enter the Void.
I haven't seen Enter the Void.
What's that other movie, too, with, like, the dancers? and they're all doing like PCP.
Oh, Climax.
Climax.
It's not PCP. Well, they're all high off LSD from. Yeah. It's funny. Same director though. Gaspar Noé. It's funny you bring him up. I watched one of his short films today, which I should not talk about in the podcast because it's very dirty.
Fucked up?
It's very dirty. Well, all of Gaspar Noé's shit is fucked up. He's not known for being.
Climax wasn't that fucked up.
It was fucked up enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I didn't know you saw that though.
I watched it with She Who Shall Not Be Named. Yeah.
Was she a Gaspar Noé fan? Because you watched Enter the Void with her as a.
No.
Oh.
She's like sorry.
I have not seen that yet though. I want to see it.
I actually didn't finish it.
Oh.
To be honest, but
2 of his new movies are both coming to Plaza Atlanta soon. And I will be going to see them.
Can I come?
Yeah, sure, if you want. Yeah. Because I want to see them. Yeah.
Climax was interesting, I guess.
I like that movie. You should watch Irreversible. Also very fucked up. He directed that. Yeah, I do like that movie. But it's very fucked. Yeah.
But yeah, this
That's
is better.
kind of his.
This is better than those.
Was not expecting that comparison to come up. But yeah, like we said, it's not really that deep, so I feel like there's not a lot to talk about. But it's interesting.
Yeah, like I said, it's very interesting, and it was kind of making me think, like, how abstract can you get?
Yeah,
Because it's pretty abstract.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Cool. Very cool.
Cool. Thank you, Tom Green.
Yeah, it's like that modern art where, like, someone nailed a banana to the wall or whatever, and they, like, sold it. It's like, how far can you take something like that?
Yeah.
You know? Like, can you just give someone a penny with, like, an expo marker dot on it and be like, yeah, this is, like, classic art? There
is something I actually did want to mention, though, from this movie. I know you said that you didn't really notice it or care.
Oh, what?
And we've talked about this before. Yeah. There was way too much licensed music that kind of bothered me. It's like way too much like every other scene. I never like when there's too much licensed music in a fucking movie.
I might be wrong, and this might be kind of like, what's the word? Hindsight?
Yeah.
But I feel like that might be a joke too.
Maybe. It might be.
Because like every
That
scene,
is a part of those, a big part of those like 2000s fucking comedies.
Because every scene when he starts driving away, like Hotel California starts playing or some shit.
Oh, what I want to say though is that,
oh yeah, good.
Love to Tom Green for this, there's a lot of punk representation in the movie. There's a lot of punk that plays in the music. Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's probably the where it came from. But I was just like, oh, it's good. The music that plays ain't good. Also, a lot of rap too. It's like rap and punk are like the big things in the movie. Yeah.
My type of guy, Tom Green.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom Green.
There was one song in there where I was like, oh shit, I've never heard this in that movie before. I forget what song it was.
What scene was it? I'm not gonna remember based off that, but
it was just one of those million scenes of like, because every scene that plays music really is him driving, I think. Or like a transition.
Not just is it? I don't think so.
A lot of the scenes are him
like when he's
skateboarding,
like and there was like
something
like that. Yeah, probably.
I don't know what it was.
But yeah, there was a lot of punk in there. I was like, oh, they're cool.
Yeah, he's a quirked up white boy who's goated with the sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
With a little bit of swag.
With a little bit of swag. Yeah, I thought it fit.
He was drippy. Classic cargo pants with a too long flannel or whatever and a t-shirt.
He looked kind of like Shaggy. He would have been a good choice for Shaggy.
He wouldn't have been a bad choice.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been. He can't do the voice, I bet.
He can't do the voice yet?
I bet probably not.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Green has like a pretty distinct voice. I actually like his voice.
But like Scooby-Doo was only a few years after this?
Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't they fuck Matthew Lillard. No, I like Matthew Lillard, but why didn't you get Tom Green?
That would
have been a good choice.
It's not bad. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
He looks more like Shaggy by default than Matthew Lillard does.
You already know Tom Green and James Gunn would have gone along in 2004.
Probably.
They would have been cool. Not that because not Tom Green.
James Gunn wrote part 2, I think, right?
James Gunn wrote both.
Oh, he wrote both of them. I thought it was only part 2.
I think he wrote both, and I think he produced 2.
But yeah, that would have been interesting.
I think. I'm saying I think to diminish any culpability for being wrong.
Well, yeah. Do you got anything else to say about Freddy Got Fingered?
It was really fucking funny. It's honestly, I'm not kidding. This is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while.
Maybe.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, maybe.
And I kind of have this, I'm a bit of an Andy Kaufman type, comedy genius. So
of course.
I just really appreciate it more than anything. What makes me laugh is when someone's trying to make themselves laugh. Like, when they're saying what they think is funny.
Yeah.
Unless they're not funny.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? That kind of sense of humor is my favorite. That's what I like.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was watching, it just made me think of something I was watching. I was watching a Howard Stern interview with, Vincent Gallo.
Is that the Breaking Bad guy?
No, Vincent Gallo is, Buffalo 66, the Brown Bunny director and star of those movies. And he was talking.
Gillian is Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and he was saying like, I forgot exactly what the quote is, but he was talking about like, oh, this was like my idea of a good movie, and if people didn't like it, well, I'm sorry for you. Talking about the Brown Bunny, and then Howard Stern was like, yeah, I think like a lot of movies are directors trying to entertain themselves, and just hope that other people will enjoy it too. And I don't know, that kind of maybe there's something to be said about that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Cause it just made me think of that, but it's like maybe that's like the best kind of art. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, you're trying to appeal to yourself before you appeal to everyone else. You know what I mean? And in that sense, it's always, I think that way you have like the most creative freedom. I guess if you're not trying to appeal to other people. Yeah, you know what I mean?
If you're only trying to appeal, it's like it's kind of like you could say like a metaphor for like, not a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
You can compare it to lying. Like if you're lying about something, like let's say you dye your hair.
Yeah.
And then you're constantly lying about like, oh, this is my natural hair color. Like you have to keep up that.
We don't know anybody who's done that.
I don't know anybody who's ever done that actually, which is interesting. Just a random example.
Yeah.
But then you have to keep up that lie.
Yeah.
And you have to like, if people talk about you, they can find inconsistencies and they'll figure out the lie or various things like that. And then you could cross over the same thing to like making a movie where it's like, there's gonna be different stuff that's like, not you, that's gonna fall through the cracks, or you're gonna need someone else to come in and tell you like, oh no, this is what general audiences would want, not this.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's always gonna be something that you don't get or that wouldn't be for you. But if you just make the movie for yourself and in your creative team and shit like that, or whatever the piece of art is, like you were saying, then it's like lying. Like if you just tell the truth all the time, there's nothing to worry about because you already know. Like it's already your truth is already in your head. So it's, you know, and that's just the kind of art that I find myself appreciating the most.
I agree.
Is like actual, like stuff that's like true to the artist.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So thank you, Tom Green.
Well,
we never thought you were a fraud, Tom Green.
No.
No, we never thought you were a hack. You're very clearly not.
Yeah, I never thought he was a hack. There was a period of time though when I was a kid where I did think, I was like, oh, Freddy Got Fingered is like the worst movie ever.
Yeah, because that's what everyone says.
But it's really not.
No, definitely not. I've seen much worse. I've seen much worse than fucking Freddy Got Fingered.
I can think of 3 movies we saw like this year.
that are worse than Freddy Got Fingered. Yeah. So. Thank you, Tom Green.
Yeah, like what? Like Uncharted, Lost City.
Yeah.
Is another one?
Probably some other bullshit.
They're definitely Ambulance.
Yeah. We're seeing Ambulance tonight. Michael Bay's Ambulance. I'm actually excited for it.
I'll see it.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal.
And you can drag me along with you, buddy. But yeah, 3 out of 3 stars.
I would give it. For me, it's like. See, I feel like I gave it a lot of credit, but in reality, I give it like a 6 out of 10, just for like my personal enjoyment of it. But I appreciate what's there and what he was doing.
Yeah, sure.
But I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I need to see this again. I really appreciate what he did, but like just watching it, I give it like a 6 out of 10.
I don't This is one of the first movies I've seen in a while. Not like just on RNS, but this is one of the first movies I've seen in a long time where I'm like, I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. It would just be fun because I don't know. I want to hear some of the quotes again that I kind of didn't commit to memory because he says a lot of funny shit and yeah, we didn't talk about the classic "Daddy, do you want some sausage?" We didn't even talk about
that
classic scene.
There's too much ridiculous stuff in it.
Yeah. No, because genuinely, I have a bad habit. I've mentioned on the podcast before. I have a bad habit of watching reviews or content and video essays and nonsense like that instead of actually watching things. This is one of the times where if you have enjoyed what you've heard so far about the movie, go watch it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do it justice.
Yeah.
It's very...
Well, I say that for every movie we review. Please go watch it.
I wouldn't say that for every movie. But...
every movie we review.
Anyways, go watch Freddy Got Fingered if you think that shit sounds funny. It was really fun to watch. And it's 90 minutes. Very short.
Yeah. It is short.
So thank you again for listening.
Thank you.
Go enjoy Freddy Got Fingered. It's not on any streaming service, I don't think.
No. I rented it off Amazon.
I rented it off of an alternative service. And, yeah, go check it out if you can. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment. If you know any cool movies we should do, let us know. I'm still thinking about Pink Flamingo.
We will review it.
I'm still
like I said, once the Criterion comes out, we should review it then. Yeah.
I might buy it.
Actually. Yeah. Do it.
Because like I said, I've been really into that type of shit lately. Where there's like, they don't give a fuck, it's for themselves. I really like that stuff. So.